Let us go back to the Californian gold rush. The California gold rush began on January 24th, 1848, when gold was found by James W. Marshall at Sutter's Mill in Coloma, California. Approximately 300,000 people arrived in California from the rest of the United States and abroad over the course of the next years. James W. Marshall, being the first to the market, found $10 million worth of gold. Now, the reason that I'm telling you this story is because I genuinely think that we're in the midst of a gold era right now, a gold rush of sorts. And the reason is that what I say it is because of all the AI innovations, blockchain innovations, these things, while exciting as they may be, and they really are really exciting, what they will allow humanity to do is accelerate the rate by which we're able to develop things. So if you think that it's a coincidence that Bitcoin happened like about 10 years back or 14 years back, and then now we have AI, and now AI is being integrated into things, and blockchain is still, in development in terms of use cases, but you have so many opportunities to do business, and especially if it's a rational kind of business, but you also have a lot of irrational opportunities, like what we saw with the NFT market, right? All the rush, all the crazy sales, people made a lot of money. Those who played their cards right, and a lot of people lost their money as well. So the reason that I'm telling you all of that, and the story about James W. Marshall, and even the stories with the NFTs, the people that made the most money were the people that were first in the market. It's what Peter Thiel in his book Zeros to Ones is calling 0 to ones, basically, right? The name of the book. So to be able to do that, you need to position yourself in terms of your mindset, in terms of your skills and capabilities, and in terms of your environment. These three things have to align in the right place for you to seize the opportunities that are going to be presented to you by being in such a place in the first place, and that will enable you to explore areas and regions that are overlooked. And when I think about all of those things, it's like, okay, Tony, that is all fun and great, and it sounds so great in theory, but I always like a good solid call to action, something that I can do right now, something that is very clear and concise to help me. And in order for me to drive my point forward, I like to talk about the concept of 3 thought modes. So each and every one of us has his 3 thought modes, and they are: I know what I know. So these are all of the things that you know, the things about all of your knowledge that you've accumulated. And then you have I know what I don't know. And in there, you have all of the self-awareness in terms of your flaws, in relation to your flaws. You know where you could do better. Even if you're in denial about it, you're still feeling pretty crap about it, I assure you, despite, trying to make it go away. It's still there. You know what you don't know. But the last one is the one with the most interest, is I don't know what I don't know. So this is all of the knowledge in the world, right? All of the opportunities of the world are in that part of mode, in that thought mode. And when you make that thought mode align with your goal, then you're in the game. And let's review this. So we have the 3 thought modes: I know what I know what I don't know what I don't know. And the second layer, to me, is what I call the playfield. And you're either on it or you're not. The playfield is the place where you go, the set of actions you do, to make sure you expose yourself to as many unknown unknowns. So this is the place where the thought mode, the third one, I don't know what I don't know, is coming to play. If you want to open a shoe store, right, you need to be in the business of constantly inquiring about the shoe business, who supplies, who's your end customer, and what do they like. You need to be around shoe store customers and ask them questions. Be around shoe store owners, accountants, any real estate agents to inquire about a good location, or perhaps a website developer to check how much will it cost to set up a shop front. That's the meaning of being in the playfield, and the more you spend your time there, the more you make more mistakes and the more you learn. So you see, mistakes are just a natural way of things. That's the natural process of learning in itself, but especially in business. So that's the true meaning of the master has failed more times than the student ever did. You have to go through this adventure and learn from it, and to make it as smooth as possible, you need to be ready. And this is the call to action, really. These are the bread and butter, right? So you know all this theory, you agree, you relate to it in some other way, but we all need to be given concise instructions about how it is we can change things, and that's how I like to have information presented for me, and so I sure do the same for you. So your tools to start with are consistency and iteration. Anything that you do cannot come to fruition if it's not consistent. If there's no consistency in the stock market, if you're not consistent with your trades, in terms of your P&L ratios, and you make more wins than losses, then you're not profitable, then your strategy isn't worth much. If you're not, as an athlete, if you're not consistent with your training and with your nutrition, and you're disciplined about it, then it will never come into Olympic aspirations of sorts. So consistency and iteration. Consistency is what we need to succeed. Iteration is the tool by which we sharpen our consistency. And that is really great. So look at that. You need to be able to see your progress every day, every week, every month. Or else you'll start treading the waters of anxiety, and your mind will start questioning the whole value of what you're doing, and it'll start coming up with excuses of what you're doing. You're wasting your time. Maybe we shouldn't be doing this. To combat that, you will need a set of goals for the macro view. 3-month goals, okay? So a quarter view, and so much is true for the stock market as well. So we can see it in quarterly reports, right? And the overall macro look about the financial world is very, very important to be able to identify micro things. Okay, so you have to have the lesson from that, even if it's not coming from the financial world. The lesson from that is you need to be able to look on the grand scheme of things, of how things are coming into play in your life, and not only your day-to-day things or your day-to-day habits or your month-to-month habits. You need to sort of think through how you're advancing yourself over the course of the next 6 months. Okay, and this is usually the time frame that is really, really helpful. But for us, let's start with 3 months, and then the micro view is a month goal for each month, and a goal for a week, and the goals for the day. You can track this easily by using an app like Todoist on iOS or any other to-do application that allows you to add categories for your monthly, weekly, and daily goals. So I really like to take the app and separate it into months, like month goals, week goals. And then I have usually the section in Todoist. It's pretty automatic, so it does the to-do for you. And in the upcoming, I can set the goals for the next day. Every Sunday, you will spend at least 30 minutes writing your after-action report on the week. This is the iteration. You're going to log what happened. You're going to log your mistakes. You're going to log your achievements, whether or not your goals have been met. Okay, you're going to write it all down, and then on each mistake, I want you to write one solid, concrete action of how to improve it. The purpose of this is to know where you're going and to keep the things that bother you the most in the forefront of your mind. That will keep you in your own playfield. Your own playfield is the playfield of your discipline. It's your ability to follow through with the process that I mentioned above. So being consistent with your goals and completing them, and on the same time being open-minded enough and introspective enough to iterate through your after-action reports and see where things are not playing the way you thought they'd be, or as fast as they would be, or maybe you're exercising too much, or maybe your body isn't just ready for this just quite yet. But the most important thing is, I want you to avoid a burnout. I want you to avoid feeling exhausted. I want you to make change exciting and interesting and adventurous, and it can be. But if you're with a personality where you kind of sort of push on the gas pedal too hard like me, or maybe you need to, more time to jump and kickstart things, then you'll adjust your strategy accordingly in your after action report. Okay? And you'll use your natural curiosity in the after action report to say, hey, okay, I see those mistakes now. I didn't see them before. And now I have an action that I can take. What could be a very valuable and beneficial action to improve that? And you log that, and hopefully the purpose of this is for it to also be applied in your goals for the next day and the next week, and you start applying it in your day-to-day goal routine. Your own playfield is very important, and you can be either controlled by your unknown unknowns, that are your subliminal thoughts, repeating the same mistakes and behavior patterns, or you can choose to start paying attention to how you're feeling, how you're talking, how disciplined are you, and why you fail, where you fail. This is the most important part. Pay attention and write down the mistakes first, why you fail, where you fail. Then finish with the accomplishments, but the mistakes first. By writing this weekly and writing the solutions to each and every one of these mistakes, you will find control and improvement over your situation, as you will log tasks for the next week that will promote these decisions.